Welcome to the Cuse Militia podcast with those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
What's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning into the Cuse Militia podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please share it. The universal handle for the socials is at Cuse Militia. Go there, join the militia. We are the only Syracuse sports podcast centered around giving you, the fans, a voice. So welcome. Happy Thursday to everybody out there. It's Thursday evening for us. And got a little bit of news for you. Going to have Tyler on to do, what are you doing, dude? Going to have Tyler on to go over the recruits for 2021 so far. The recruits rolling in. A couple 2022 recruits, too, I saw. We won't talk about them right now. You know?
Really? I don't remember seeing any of those. The only ones I see were...
I swear 2022 recruit. You're going to make me Google this right now, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to make you do that, no.
Google. So what's good, Joe? How's everything? How's the Rona down there in Carolina?
It's fine. Except for now we have to wear masks at work, so, you know.
Yeah, I have to wear them in people's homes, which is completely rational. And
yeah,
you know, you don't want to make people feel
I mean, whether you agree with it or not, businesses, they have the right to create their own rules if you want to, you know, go there, right? So I just, as much as I don't agree with it, you know, there's other things that have happened before in news and in the past where, you know, I've used that stance to kind of, you know, go against some things. So again, it is what it is. I'm wearing a mask to wear a mask because it's their right to tell me I have to. Yeah,
they make the rules to tell you whatever you want, pretty much. Or you can say yes, or you can be like, no, I'm going to find a new job. But there's about 30 million other people trying to find jobs now,
yeah. And it's not like I'm going to lose. I'm not going to quit this job just because I have to wear a mask. Like,
right.
It's
Which
kind
is
of
ridiculous. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we digress. All right.
Yes.
Welcome back. Thank you. The Cuse Moments Madness has commenced, so to speak. And we had a little snafu with it.
Rocky start.
Word of the day, snafu. So we'll talk about that. But quickly, Joe, before we get into that, because it's worth a little bit of a conversation. Alan Griffin signs his national letter of intent. That's great. I'm really big on this kid. I can't wait to see him play. Still no word whether or not, you know, next year is still up in the air. So I'm hoping we're going to hear some news probably maybe once this is all over and sorted out. I'm hoping that the NCAA does the right thing and kind of just the rule is set for what, 2021, Joe, right? They've pretty much set the rule for 2021, right?
I knew that they were supposed to talk about it, right? I don't know.
Right, but it usually wouldn't happen this quick. It would happen probably next year. So hopefully they just waive it and just they're going to do it anyway. You might as well just start now. I think the circumstances allow for, you know, something like that. I mean,
I mean, this makes it official, but I wouldn't wait if I was him. Now that it's official, he can put in his waiver to the NCAA based upon why he moved and whether it's because of certain circumstances at his old school or whether it's family related because he is from the state of New York and he wanted to move closer to home because of this coronavirus thing. Right. I mean, that's really where I think that you can take advantage of it, especially right here. I mean, like I said, I believe that they should give everyone a waiver, right? But if you're like, hey, this coronavirus pandemic thing kind of freaked me out, so I want to move closer to home with my family, then that should be able to move for a waiver because it's not like he is, you know, it's not like he's transferring to Kentucky, you know. I mean, he's moving closer to home. So if I were him, and most likely probably what they're going to do is instead of waiting for the NCAA to announce that, they're probably going to put in a waiver anyway and hope that goes through. So fingers crossed. But it's like you always say, you know, we talk about these recruits, but they're only verbals until it's official and they get here, right? So
right, and that's going to, you know, that goes for the football recruits we're going to talk about. I understand a lot of people are really excited. I get a lot of I get some DMs and some emails and stuff like that in regards to recruits and mentions on Twitter and stuff like that. So it's something fun to research and look at and watch tape while there's no sports going on. So it tides us over.
Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes you fall in love with the tape and you're like, oh, I can't wait for this kid. And then decommit. You're like, oh.
Yeah, well, that's the
something
thing,
like
right?
Darius Baisley, right? So, I mean, again, I'm just glad that he's signed, and now it's coming down to whether or not he gets to play this year or he gets to play next year.
Darius Baisley making trash bags for pants great again. By the way, I don't know if you saw that, but
well, I mean, you can say what you want about him, but he got a lot of burn in the NBA this year on Oklahoma City Thunder, and his move actually turned out. It worked out. And now
he did it right, and it's not easy. Plus, he got backed.
Well, he did it right, and he did fall in line with some people to where he could make a little bit of money that probably now, I mean, you never know.
His year off, he made money.
Yeah, he made money, and he actually got into the NBA. I mean, he was a bench player that was playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder a majority of the season. I know that he went back and forth a little bit of the D League, but he played a lot of games for them. So he surprised me as far as how that was going to work out, especially considering that he took a year off. So obviously he was working with some people and he did the right thing, made a little bit of money, and whatever he did, it worked better than I thought it was going to. That's for sure. And now there's more players that are kind of following that pattern.
Yeah, so, and I think it's easier and better for everybody, fans especially, if people just are able to do that. So there's no mushy area where where they've committed, but, they've still got a year or whatever. You've got Dior Johnson who's, look, this kid's talented.
Right.
If you really put it in perspective, what does he really need Syracuse for?
Right. Well, I guess the one thing I think that we can go and we can look at, and I mean, the fans, they can comment if I'm wrong, but the one thing here was that not every situation is going to end up like this. I do remember there was Brandon Jennings, Emmanuel Mudiay, some guys that they went overseas and they played 1 year, then went in the draft. That's a little bit different because usually most of the overseas leagues aren't as good as the G League or the D League or whatever it was for the NBA. So Baisley, I don't want to say he got a little lucky, but having the backing that he had to where he could actually sit out, because if you do remember, he was getting pushed around in the G League a little bit, right? So, and that was kind of the reason why I think he sat out and didn't play too much. So the one thing that hasn't been proven is a guy come out and actually go to the G League or the D League and actually play and dominate. So if these kids can't come out and get a little bit of backing like Baisley and maybe sit out a year and get their weight up and get physically ready for the game, then it might be a different story. But as far as Darius Baisley and how that worked out, I didn't think it was going to work out like this. And
I didn't either.
He proved me wrong.
I didn't either. I think it's a rare case, though. I really do. But we'll see. It's going to people are going to figure this out. Agents are going to figure this out. There's going to be ways where they figure this out if the NCAA wants to play these games. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be ways that they do it, unless they come to, some kind of agreement between the NCAA and the NBA. Anyway, moving on. Demetrius Nichols, former forward for Syracuse, is back. He sustained a pretty bad leg injury last year. That's why he didn't play in last year's tournament. But he's back. He's going to join Eric Devendorf, Malachi Richardson, Tyler Leinen, and Brandon Trish. So they need 2 more players. Boeheim's Army is going to need 7 players by June 15th to be eligible. I don't think they're going to have a problem doing that. But need a big guy in there, a bigger guy. So, yeah. I mean, AO's perfect, right? I mean, that's always a perfect fit.
Well, they give, obviously, there's the fan favorites, and then you got to put the scholarships, this whole coronavirus, what's going on with everything. And also on top of that, like some of these players, they're not just going to, as much as you'd love to want every player to come back and be, hey, come back and play for your alumni team in this thing, like the fans will love you and everything. I've seen some teams where like they go into the tournament and they know how much each player is going to make if they win. They have to break it up like that. So I've seen in certain teams, Overseas Elite and some of these other teams, where to get some of the better guys, they got to promise them a little bit more money if they do win. So you never know if there's a little bit of that behind the scenes, but I'm sure that, they've been trying to get better every single year, and I'm sure that they're trying to get a little bit younger versus some of the other teams that we've had in the past couple of years. Make sure it's all orange. And
I really think that needs to be the trend going forward. Just my opinion.
And honestly, I think that the tournament would be a lot better if that was actually a rule. But that's another conversation for another show. But all
alumni teams?
Yeah,
that'd be neat. Yeah,
but either way, I'm sure that Belby's got a list and Blackwell's got a list, and they're going to try to.
They're working on it every day.
Get their turn. Yeah, I don't think getting the numbers wouldn't be a problem.
No.
So I'm sure there's people they could ask who would say yes in a minute. It's
right.
They're trying to maximize the team and how good they could possibly be.
Right.
So
yeah. So all right, that's cool. So
and Nick can still play.
Do what? Yeah.
Nichols can still play.
I mean, he's a great outside shooter. I mean, it's what he's a scoring threat, and it's kind of what we needed last year. Didn't have Demetrius Nichols last year. Brought in Jordan Crawford, kind of like trying to make up for that scoring difference. So anyway, the Cuse moment madness. Jeez. So we there was a bit of a snafu, just a little slight embarrassing moment there for us for about 15 minutes till we figured out what to do. So if you listen to the show, we did do a selection show for it, and we did talk a lot about the 6 overtime game. Talked about Diemendorf on the table, talked about the 6 overtime game, and then we talked about, do we make them separate? No, we should make them one thing as the 6 overtime game, as we should have, which we...
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, this slipped through the cracks. I have no idea how, but they're in the championship.
And if you actually do go back and listen, I did bring up at one point, like I felt like we were missing something. like we got to a seed at one point and there wasn't enough seeds left to fill out the rest of the ones. And I questioned it, and I don't know who had the list. I guess next time I'm just going to have to keep the list.
Yeah, wow. Throwing Gio under the bus. Whoa.
I'm not throwing anybody under the bus.
Wow.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there was something going. When we were doing that, I had a feeling we were missing something. And
of course,
I remember saying something about it, and then we kind of, dusted it under the rug, didn't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden we put the poll out, and we're like, oh, wait a minute, we missed something.
Yeah, so we could have
vetted that a little bit better.
We definitely could have, but there's 4 of us there, and I think each one of the 4, we're probably like, oh, there's 4 of us here. I mean,
think about the time in between. We could have had to vet that, really, realistically.
Oh,
we could have.
Totally.
We should have.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean,
you live and you learn, right?
Yeah, this isn't freaking ESPN, for crying out loud. This is a part-time gig at best, and we make $0. So, we took out the Boeheim GMAC overrated presser and ended up putting in the 6 overtime game, and that went in as a 7 seed, and it went,
which is why that was so high. Yes,
right, and it went as a 7 seed against, because it was the only thing that made sense, because we already had the 06 run in here,
right,
and it went against the 10 seed Fair Hood Airfingers quote charge ejection game against Duke, and
it smoked them.
It's been smoking everybody. So it went against the 2007. Look, were there any of these that surprised you? Were like, man, I don't know if that should have won, or I expected this to go different, because you had the GMAC run versus the 2018 Syracuse win over MSU 55-53, which was great. It was a great game, if you remember. And so they won there, and then it was Gillen beats Duke against the Ennis buzzer beater, was still the closest one so far as an 8-9 seed. Was a great matchup. Gillen edges out Ennis for the buzzer beater at the 8-9 slot and moves on. Then lacrosse we put it as a 4 seed, but it unfortunately went up against the 13 seed 2013 Final Four game. I voted for the lacrosse.
Final Four run, yeah.
The Final Four run, yeah. So I voted for lacrosse because of the way it was won in its back-to-back championships. I thought it deserved it. I understand how popular that 2013 Final Four run was, though, too. So
making it to the Final Four is a big deal, and that's what I was kind of talking to you about the other day, right?
So is winning back-to-back championships in lacrosse. So, I mean, lacrosse gets the short end of the stick. It's like the third,
oh yeah,
So anyway,
well, yeah. I mean, when you look at the popularity and how much they actually, how many fans go to games and everything. Obviously, lacrosse is big, but it's not close to basketball. So that was kind of predictable as far as I was concerned.
It was, and the whole basketball really wiping everybody out of this was kind of predictable, right?
Right.
I mean,
I thought the football season, the 10-win season, I thought, that they should have.
You thought they should have beat that Elite 8 win over UVA?
No, that's where they should have lost, but it was unfortunate that they got set up to them because, it's a lot of it is because of just the basketball following for Syracuse as well. But this is kind of how I saw this going was, the important runs, like I was telling you, like the Gillen buzzer beater for Duke. You love that, and I understand. There's a personal thing that goes with that too, so I get it. But that was a team that ended up going to the NITs, and it was a big win, but it wasn't a game that got us to go further into the tournament.
And I know your argument to this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. The 2017 win over Clemson was an awesome win. It was a great moment, and I love that. But they didn't do nothing after that. They won 4 games that season, and they didn't do anything after that. And I understand that, how many big games were like that. Well, the year before they beat Virginia Tech, but really, how far do you have to go back to find another one? It was years.
Like 30-something, yeah.
So,
Virginia Tech was Virginia Tech was 16th. You're talking Clemson was number 2 only because it was the beginning of the season.
I know.
And they were national champions, and they're basically dominating college football right now. So we had no reason to win that game, and that was the biggest win that we've had since probably Nebraska?
What, in 87?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
That's why it's a bigger deal as far as I'm concerned.
Wasn't there another one, though? There was another one after Nebraska.
We've beaten some ranked teams, but I'm talking with national championship level teams. We beat Clemson. They went on to win the national championship. We had some injuries, and we ended up falling out. If you don't remember, we played Clemson, beat them, and then the very next week, we have to go to Miami?
Yeah, it was a rough run.
And then it was Florida State.
Yeah.
It was and they were close games, but we were beat up.
Yeah. It was a great moment though. It was. But it beat Gillen's 43-point performance against NC State, and that was an overtime game, right? Yeah.
And again, I'm a little biased towards that, right?
I know because you were there, right?
I was there, but I just think Syracuse basketball, they've had so many more chances to play against top-ranked team. We've been ranked number 1. Look at Tyler Ennis, his year. We were 25-0. We haven't been up there that long, so we don't play that type of competition in football. So when those games do happen, I think that it's a bigger deal. So although, yes, I am making the same argument, I think you have to look at the perspective of one team in that sport to another team in another sport and their success, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
We're as a Syracuse basketball fans, are you surprised when you beat ranked teams? Are you surprised when we're ranked?
No.
Right, but in football,
it's definitely a bigger deal. I totally agree. I'm just making the argument that
devil's advocate. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, someone around here has got to do it. So, I thought it was cool that the Final Four was 2 Final Four games against each other against 2 Big East games against each other, Big East tourney games against each other. So at the end of the day, the results are in, and I have not put up the what would be the championship matchup between these two, but it's looking like it's the 6 overtime win against UConn and the Elite 8 win over UVA in 2016.
Yeah.
So, this is a clear winner to me. I wish it was going to be closer, but I just don't think it's going to be close.
I think you'd be surprised.
You think so?
To me, those are probably
pretty equal.
Like the 2 best games in this.
Yeah, you've got a
as far as basketball
solid point there. Yeah, no, totally. But one was historic though. One was historic, and I will say one that I did not think should lose so early. Let me see, which one was it? I mean, I know which one it was.
There's a lot going with that UVA win, though, too, you know?
The 2000, yes, I know. I get it. They were down. It just looked horrible. It was like no coming back type thing. And the UConn
No, not even that, though. I mean, if you're going into the selection show, no one really even thought we were even going to make the tournament.
Oh, right.
So
yeah,
we had that. And, again, that whole Gonzaga comeback, the game before that, in the Sweet 16 to go to the Elite Eight. So I don't know. I think it's a situation where coming back and getting to the Final Four and beating Virginia with that team that year was something that was very unexpected versus obviously you don't expect a 6 overtime game, but I don't think that it would have been crazy to think that we would have been able to beat UConn, you know, at the Big East tournament. But like you said, the type of night it was, how many foul outs, historic night, 6 overtime.
Just the pure madness of each overtime ending. Like
right.
every overtime ending had its thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those things as a Syracuse fan where you know, like, what you were doing, where you were, if you fell asleep, you know, those kind of things, right? So
totally. Who does that?
Yeah. So, but, you know, imagine if there was a game after that. Imagine.
What do you mean? If they had to start another game that night? Well, that one would have started earlier, so it would have not went till it did.
Yeah. Okay. So 2.5 hours earlier, but it still went.
What would that be? 11:30? Wait. Yeah, it was like 1:30, right?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. So you're talking about.
So one would have started at
the other
about
game
midnight.
wouldn't have started. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, totally. They
On
would
the
have gone
East
to
Coast?
at least 2.
Come on.
Yeah. No, totally. And the other thing, the one that I wanted to mention before I was so rudely interrupted was the game that I really wanted to see go far because you are so annoying sometimes. Was the 5 seed, the 18-19 season, the unranked Syracuse going into number 1 Duke and beating them in Cameron Indoor. First and only team that's ever done that up to this date. And I think probably the stars have to be aligned for anyone else to ever do that again. That may last forever. I know it's not like a huge, it's not widely talked about. Like that game's long forgotten, but I think that's such a cool stat. Just from a statistical standpoint to, you know, if you look at the odds of doing that, you know, just highly improbable. I mean, and they pulled it off. It was a great game. So yeah, that was one I thought would go a little further, but it is going against, you know, it's going against one of the games that's going to be in the championship, and that's the 2013 Final Four game. So, that lost. Yeah, that lost against the Big East run. My bad. So anyway, all right. Well, anything else to say about that? We'll put the championship game after the show ends, or maybe tomorrow morning. Let it simmer all day. And we'll have some fun with that. If you're good,
I don't
Joe,
really.
Huh?
Are you all okay? All right.
I'm good.
I was just saying,
bringing Tyler,
I'm good with
what?
this. I just got something else. What's up?
Well, we'll go ahead with it.
Oh, just there was news that came out today about rankings. Kadari Richardson.
Yeah, he's up 100 spots or something since.
Yeah, he moved up like 112 spots. He was like 180th or something, 178th in the class, and now he's like 78th.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy. Does it make you a little nervous though? Honestly, like on one end of that, or no?
Never know. I don't think so, personally.
No? Yeah, I don't either. I feel like that one's set. Well, yeah, I know that, but what?
So why does it? So I mean, why would I be nervous? Another school can't come in and scoop them.
No, that's true. But, you know, who knows? You don't know what the hell goes on with these guys. You don't know.
Spots. He's coming to Syracuse. Like, why would I be nervous? We need a third guard.
Well, I know that. Awesome. I get that. But, you know, things happen. So, I mean, didn't Darius Baisley sign? Didn't he sign? I'm just curious. Didn't he sign?
Oh, my God. He was a McDonald All-American. There's a little bit of a difference.
Okay, I'm just saying, did he sign?
Yes, I understand things happen. Okay, I understand things happen. All right.
Are you done?
But then you might as well be nervous for everybody else.
Are you done? I'm always nervous about him. That's the honest truth. So, yeah. Truth. But at the end of the day, if we get him, we get him. If we don't, whatever.
All right, Papa Bear.
Good luck to you. What's the Papa Bear thing? I don't even get that. I don't get it. Are you ready to bring Tyler on?
Yeah, buddy.
All right, welcome, Tyler Marona, Cuse Militia's own football expert, our in-house guy. for all things football. Oh yeah. It's like James Zuba, 315 legend, and Tyler Marona, football expert for Cuse Militia podcast. What's up, buddy?
Thanks for the intro. I played football. A football expert is far from a long shot. It's funny that like you see people at like PFF.com or like all the like analytics sites now, or even guys that like have never played football and that just work in the front offices. They probably actually know more about football than me, and I was an actual football player. So it's kind of funny that you could consider me an expert if you want, but like I
just compare you to Joe
and think like they know a lot more than I do about this game, or maybe they're just thinking more about it than I do. Because I'm like, it's kind of a simple thing at the end of the day.
I'm just really trying to legitimize the show and act like we have someone that's important on, and you couldn't just roll with it. Yeah.
I'll always be. I had a jersey for Syracuse University football at one point in time, and I have a lot of friends, and I was on the team, and I did have a scholarship, so it's like, yes, okay, I'll take it.
Okay,
but I just like to make sure people know exactly who I am, and like they don't think like
you're very
GM
humble. Yes, you're very humble. I'm going to edit all that out. Okay.
No, you don't
just
edit
just cut it out. Yeah, it'd just be like, yes, like just me saying yes.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
exactly.
I think really where it hits, Tyler, is like you just being on the team, just playing college football, but just going through a D1 system,
Process.
the playbook, stuff like that, all together, like that automatically. I mean, just knowing those things automatically makes you smarter than 85% of the people that watch football, probably more that watch football, right? So
I like to think so. I genuinely like to think so.
Yeah. Because there's some guys, obviously, their jobs are to do that, like you said, PFF and those guys. But when it comes down to the average fan, the more you know about it as far as X's and O's and that kind of thing, and you're going to be, you want to coach, and that's your aspiration, right? So all those little things that a normal person watching the game, you watch it differently than a fan. So
as if it couldn't get any better. Joe sounds amazing. Tyler sounds amazing. We're using the Zoom this time. Sun's out, guns out, Joe? What's up? Sun's out,
it's just hot, man. It's just hot.
What does it matter? Do you guys have any tats?
I do not.
No
I have
tats?
some awful tattoos. Yeah, I do. We're not going to go there though. I have a Metallica tattoo.
I'm pretty tatted up. I mean, not a lot, like, we met Sean, but like, it wasn't like you saw me and you're like, oh my God, this guy's from like Ripley's Believe It or Not. But,
dude,
being a
the head
football
tat
guy, you got to have a couple.
Right. The head tat would look sick on you, bro. And you're big enough for it.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, dude.
You can always grow your hair in if you don't like it.
No, look, there's a lot of people. Oh, come on, bro.
I would love to grow my hair in. I always think about the Family Guy thing where Peter like gets his hair like ripped out, and then he just like, oh, I'll just Mr. Potato Head this, and he plugs his nose and like blows, and it just like sprouts out of it. I always think like one day I'll try it, and then like the follicles will shoot back out.
You never know. Hey.
I don't.
Okay, in all seriousness, I'm sorry. My bad. So, we're gonna go over some recruits, and we'll have a little bit of fun here. Tyler and I interviewed Malcolm Folk. We hadn't heard your thoughts on Malcolm Folk since the interview. Like, we never really got a rundown from you, and I don't think Joe's already mentioned it. But we're gonna start at. Tyler would like to start at the newest, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, it's probably the best way.
The most recent, right? Yeah. Right. So that brings us to Kendall Long, wide receiver, River Bluff High School in South Carolina, 6'3", 215 pounds. And he's got some speed, 3-star athlete. He's got some speed, 4.5 to 4.6 in the 40-yard dash, according to. And by the way, I got all these stats and everything from Orange Fizz, CuseNation.com, and Syracuse.com. And Syracuse.com has a pretty solid rundown of all the up-to-date recruits, and they also, and you don't have to pay for it. It kind of just gives their profile, and it has their highlight reel underneath. So if you want to just go and check them all out, that's where I watched them. Also, obviously, these are verbal commits. They're non-binding until the player signs a national letter of intent. Earliest they can do that is during the early signing period in December. So, all right.
Well, no, that's not true.
It's not true. Okay.
They do
Football
say
expert
in their
talking.
they do say in their commitment post that it's 110% committed. No, so it's like that to me is pretty binding.
That's, you know what? If you put it on Twitter like that, it should stand.
Not go back on your word at that point.
Yes, I agree.
I love it. I like the fact that kids are doing that now, and they say like, because I'll tell you one experience that I had that I did not like in recruiting was, as soon as I gave my verbal to Syracuse, it was really tough because like more schools are going to try to like come in and they're like, oh wow, this kid's like really a serious prospect. Like we'll try to get on him late, whatnot, what have you. And it's like, they don't honor your commitment at all. Like coaches will badmouth, your coaches, and really what they badmouth is your decision-making. It's like, oh no, like you think that you're going to go to Syracuse and be successful. Like I'll show you. And it's like, no, like it's just a better fit. Like grow up, like be a man about this. So, I mean, I won't say it doesn't really matter now because like all the coaches have probably changed since the time I've been in school anyway. So, but that's just one thing I want to throw out there.
It's a solid point though.
When I talked to Sean about it, it's like the trickle down effect, right? There's a lot of those bigger schools that they're interested. They want to keep you interested and want to keep you.
Yeah.
They dangle the carrot. They dangle the carrot there, right? So, and they're like, but if they get their guy that they like ahead of you, then all of a sudden it's ghosts. Then you don't hear anything, right? So, I mean, that's just kind of how that goes. So again, like what you said, when you see that 110% committed, I'm shutting down my recruiting process. Like when you see that, then that kind of, like you said, that's close to solidified as you can get until December.
Yeah. So Kendall Long, wide receiver, kind of a big kid. So he's fast. His tape looks great. Everybody's tape looks great. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Tyler.
I really, really like his tape. I think that, it's kind of been funny too, is that like, I feel like a lot of these guys are coming into the program and then like in winter workouts and then right before the season, strength and conditioning is like posting or letting the kids do like the mock combine to test like the gains and all that stuff. And all the guys are posting their 40 times and I'm going, it's like, wow, I didn't really think that so-and-so ran, a 4.4 flat prior to this, but they are now. So I think Kendall's going to come in. And to me, I mean, this is like the guy, right? This is just the next guy in line. That's the, big bodied guy that's just going to catch everything. Love his tape. Smoother than a limousine driving through Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, this guy is fantastic. So, I mean, he's been one of my favorite commits so far, actually, in a long line of them.
Yeah, I kind of agree. When I looked at his tape too, the one thing that I liked and I actually saw was that their offense in high school looked a lot like what we're going to be doing with, the read option. And he was doing wide receiver screens, slants, and going deep like those outside receivers do. A lot of the things that he was doing for his high school is what the outside receivers are asked to do at Syracuse. And that was the one thing that I saw because, I mean, again, you see the 3-star and everything like that. And, obviously you're going to have your Syracuse fans that are like, where are the 4 stars and 5 stars? But again, you see his size, you see his speed. The only thing that, obviously there's going to be things he's going to need to improve on, but having that size, you just question when he goes against high-level ACC corners, getting off the line if they are going to jam him. I mean, he's got the bigger size, but you always, you get those physical guys that can get underneath you and you get those hands on you, right? So that's the one thing that you don't really see too much in the tape, and you don't really know the competition size, that kind of stuff coming from where he plays. You never really know that all the time. But again, it looks like a good fit compared to how they used him on the high school team. It's exactly how we used outside receivers.
Definitely.
All right. Derek McDonald, defensive end, linebacker. Mars School in Georgia, 6'4", 230 pounds, played tight end, wide receiver. A lot of his tape was tight end. And also played D-line linebacker. He's coming into Syracuse as a D-ender linebacker. Tyler?
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I read. So, what do you think? What do you think? Huh?
I don't like it anymore. That guy.
You liked him. You liked him at tight end.
All ACC tight end.
He was really good. His tight end tape's great. Yeah.
I will tell you though, he's going to be a fantastic outside linebacker. I go to sleep waking up wanting. I dream of playing like this guy. Like that guy is a much better prospect than I was at the same age. Like, he is way better at football than I was. He doesn't have like my frame to be a DN, because I'm a guy that can hold 290 pounds. He can't do that. So it's like, that's the difference between the two of us. But like, I'm telling you, I want to be like him when I grow up playing football. Like, he is that explosive and
fast too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Very fast. And you know what I really like about it? And one thing I just want to mention off the top is, if you go through and look at where these guys are coming from, what do you see? There's only one repeat state. So we're actually going out and getting our guys, the guys that we want, probably, right? So that's one thing that's really cool. And Georgia football is really good football. So I like the fact that even if he's a 3-star, his speed will translate up north, because we can put it in context much better than some of these guys that are in the middle of nowhere, or in, not to disparage any other part of the country, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Football comes. It's well known. Sure.
Well, that's the first thing I look at, and that's the first thing the fans are going to look at, because according to 247 Sports, he's got 0 stars, but that's because he's unrated. And again, from the Atlanta, Georgia area, if he was somebody that stood out, you'd figure he'd be rated. So, I mean, that's a question that you might want to. But again, when you look at it, I mean, Atlanta, Georgia, I don't know if you can question. I'm sure they have good football, and
Oh yeah.
and when you look at that tape, like you said, explosive, and he's fast in his instincts. He's fast enough to actually, make up for a mistake, even if he makes the wrong decision. And again, this just goes down to somebody, like you said, somebody that they wanted, because for exactly the reasons that you stated, he can, on tape, it looks like he can play 3 positions. Right. So who knows? Again, like you said, don't look like he's got the shoulders to build out to get to the weight to be a D end. But to be a stand-up outside linebacker that comes up from the linebackers to make it a 4-3 and be an outside linebacker from that 2 position,
Right.
the stand-up position, he'll be able to do that. So again, getting guys where, you can get them into camp, get them into the team and see where they fit best are really the guys that I like when it comes down to this. They obviously like something about him, and he can play 3 positions. So let's see.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit more of like I really like Justin Barron. I think that he's going to be fantastic, and I think that he's a real high upside prospect. But with him, I couldn't actually tell you what he was best at. I think I know what Derek is best at, like I said before. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I like him a lot more in the slot, going and catching in the back of the end zone, because oh my God, I just think about what he could do.
Again, too, sometimes you get the guys in there. You never know how. I don't know if you remember, it's probably 4 years ago, Stritzinger, who's about to be, I think, a redshirt senior or a senior. He plays corner.
Right.
He came to Syracuse because he wanted to be recruited as a running back. He was being recruited by Michigan, Harbaugh, to be a corner. And then, you get him into, you recruit him for what they want, the position they want to play, let him get there and decide, oh, I'm not going to be able to play that. Best thing for me. And if he's a team player, they'll move to where the team needs them. And eventually he ends up playing corner for Syracuse. So maybe that's one of those things where he wants to play defense and he gets there and he realizes that his best opportunity to see the field is tight end.
Right.
Hayden Nelson, defensive end, Brookfield Central, Wisconsin, 6'4", 248, 3-star. Offers from Air Force and Navy, which says a lot, I think. Oklahoma, among others.
Wow.
Another, yeah.
Get an Oklahoma offer?
Yeah.
No.
Are you sure?
No way. Let me check this out.
Dude, it could have been sometimes it's just interest, right? Like, again,
it might have been an
interest.
interest.
It's that team keeping you there, right?
It could have been that.
No OU offer, no Wisconsin offer, no Michigan State offer, no Iowa offer, but he has basically everybody. Oh, Iowa State offer, that's a good offer. Indiana, that's a good offer.
He's from
Harvard's
Wisconsin. He's from Big Ten town.
Right, I know. I don't think he's 248, but go ahead. What do you have on this guy, Joe? This is the one guy I don't really know what to think of.
See, and that's the thing. Do you think that he's more than 248, or you think he's less watching him? Less.
No, I think he's less.
Yeah. But he looks like he's got better size as far as to fill out for a defensive end than
right. I like his potential a lot more to be a classic, like,
versus McDonald
defensive end. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Again, I mean, if kind of a highly rated 3-star from, like Big Ten town. So I'm sure, maybe we jumped on him early. That's one of those things. I read an article, I think it was Inside the Lighthouse, talking about how, it's spinning it towards Syracuse of like, even though these guys don't have big offers, they're the diamonds in the roughs that would have gotten big offers if they would have been able to go to these, camps during the summer, which, don't get me wrong, that's where players are seen. And that's
Absolutely.
where probably a lot of these players would have probably ended up going to our camps and stuff like that. So
Right.
I don't want to like poo-poo on the idea, but like to sit here and act like we're like that much ahead of everybody else. I mean, these guys obviously aren't getting looked at by the big time, guys. But when you get the middle of the Power 5 teams, I mean, they're looking at these same guys too.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So again, it's not going to be a guy that's going to come in and blow the top off and play the first year or two. But from what I saw from his tape and everything, he looks like somebody that could fill out and play that defensive end.
I think he has good traits as far as the size and the ability to grow, like you said. I just saw so much hip restriction on how he was playing. Like, he's a rocket off the ball, but like he can't play with his eyes
direction.
Like, yeah, it's like, and we've had plenty of those guys in the past, and it just scares me because it's like you see a lot of those guys across college football in general. It's like I go one direction really well, but like
one trick pony, right?
Totally. And in college, you can have those because you have 100 roster spots, right? Like at home games, you can feasibly play 100 guys. So there's an opportunity for a lot of those guys to play. But when you go on road trips and you can only take, 5 defensive ends, he's not going to make the cut, like you said, for a while. So I'm just kind of thinking of, we need help in that position, but I think we're going to get it from a different couple guys sooner than him. Maybe the point. And if this is a developmental guy, then I feel great about taking my chances on him. It's a good guy to take a chance on.
Absolutely. I mean, you're not going to, there's not enough room to have everybody come in and help the first couple years, right? So there's going to be those developmental guys. But the one thing you also have to look at too, in what Sean hit on, was the the military schools. That whenever you get offered by a military school, Dungy was somebody who was offered by military schools, and
definitely.
You're getting offered by military schools, then the character's there. You get no problems with grades or academics or anything like that. You shouldn't have any off the field issues. I mean, knock on wood, but that tells you a lot about the character of people.
All right, sorry, you caught me mid gulp there, guys. Jalen Moss, defensive tackle. This is the one from, I guess, the Rochester area, right? Fairport. Yeah. So 6'5", 260, and he's unranked. He's actually cousins with fellow Syracuse lineman Chandler Jones. So, and according to Mike McAllister, Syracuse does more extensive research on these in-state guys than they normally would, some of these out-of-state guys. So, as he mentions, they must see something in him that's going to fit this 3-3-5 defense. It's hard for me to judge. I mean, when we look at, all the tape and stuff like that, Tyler, what stands out to someone like a defensive tackle to you?
If you saw like a picture of him on Instagram, it's his freaking foot, dude. It's like a size 20. This dude is enormous, man. I was looking at him. I was looking at my phone, and I was like, how much longer does this guy go up? I have the whole picture in front of me. And it's like, and I've only had that feeling a couple times in my life. That was John Raymond. If you remember him, he was like 6'7", 350 when I met him. And I was like, you are pound for pound the largest human alive. Like Yao Ming won, you two. Yeah. Well, he went to Iowa at first, but he's from Philly. So
okay.
Anyway, long story short, but this is John Raymond 2.0. Now, John Raymond had a tragic accident, the unhappy tryout, all that stuff with his knee got blown out at Georgia Tech. But I think this is kind of like a make good, not like necessarily like the fact that we had to do like a redeem story for John Raymond, but this guy has the size, and I think he's a legitimate, could be a legitimate inside D-line type of guy that gets to 300 pounds and is twitchy. I like his upside. I think could be kind of a Don Terry Poe type of guy if things shake out right, which is a huge upside type of dude. But you have to take risks on some of these guys in that area because if they're in a populated area, they're going to USC. It's like these guys don't just grow on trees and you get them.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right there with you, and that's probably another reason another unrated guy who will eventually get rated a 3-star, right? But again, you got to look at where he plays. We've talked about New York State high school football before, so obviously it's no surprise if he's not really, especially being unrated, that he's not being heavily looked at some of these schools. But 6'5", 260, man. I mean, that's huge, and like we said, being cousins with Chandler Jones and those guys, like. It's hard for me not to think that this guy can't be, like you said, I mean, more or less, it just comes down to the athleticism and whether or not he can put on the weight and still keep that athleticism. But this is a position of dire need, in my opinion, I think, for the past 2 years. Yeah.
Dire need.
Yes. Like D tackle is, I mean, the 2 starters are seniors. They're gone this year, and depth does not look good. So you can only hope that it works out. But like you said, I mean, to imagine what a guy that I mean, 6'5", 260, that is 6'5" is usually pretty tall for a D tackle, isn't it? I mean, isn't that offensive lineman type?
It definitely trends offensive line territory, but he plays with pretty decent pad level for the most part, and like he doesn't get. I mean, for where he's playing, he's probably like, everybody's got it circled on their schedule. Like, dude, we have to play this guy. He's probably so much bigger than the next guy in his district that they're like, oh my God. So it's like nobody's messing with him in where he's playing high school football. But I think he has enough athleticism right now to where if he does add another, I don't know, let's just even say 25 pounds right now, gets up to 285 and it's all good weight. Like I think he won't lose anything. I think once we start talking 315, then we're getting into a dangerous territory. But 290, 285, yeah, sure, let's run, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, Josh Huff. This is one of my favorites. Running back, Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, 6'2", 235 pounds, 3 stars. For those willing to try to attempt to tackle on him, they pretty much get run over in high school. He's just, he's pretty fast too, for his size, and he's just tree trunk legs. Impressive to watch, and actually not just impressive, but fun to watch. Like extremely fun to watch his tape. So probably one of the best tapes that I saw out of this class. So what do you think?
Dude, I don't know what to think because I know that Pennsylvania has some pretty good high school football. And I know when you get to the D1, it's the real deal. You're not going against linebackers that you're bigger than.
Right.
But I don't know. It's something about him. Like he just reminds me of, I don't know who it is. I can't think of the name. But just being that tall, that big, it's hard. I don't know.
What were his other? I'm going to look at his other offers real quick.
6'2", 235. I mean, he's a big boy.
It's really big. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way,
you don't see a lot of running backs with that size.
No, I know. That's what's weird about it. And it's almost awkward watching it, but he's just running people over. And Giovanni, I think, is doing a little plug for Gio.
He's got an interview with him, I believe.
Yeah,
I know. I'm jealous, man. Well, this guy is by far he's going to be my favorite player for the next 4 or 5 years. So, Kendall Coleman graduated, and by the way, he won the Cuse Award for being the best citizen in the world. Because who didn't know that?
Yeah, stand-up guy, absolutely.
Called that a mile away, but yeah. Okay, so this will make us happy. He, Josh, how do you say this? Is it Hugh?
I think it's Huff.
Huff? Okay, Huff, my bad. He had a Pitt offer and a...
Oh, I do remember that Pitt offer. That's right.
His dad trashes...
Oh, and Kentucky. He had a Kentucky offer, too.
Yeah. His dad trashes Pitt fans all day on Twitter, by the way, if you want a good laugh now and then.
Good. He's probably a Penn State fan.
Probably so. It's funny, man. It's right down the middle with those people. Well, actually, it's probably not even close to right down the middle at all. It's got to be
it's the city of Pittsburgh and then everything.
Right. Yeah. It's funny too because Pitt is this long history of tradition and all that stuff, and I bet they probably get half or a quarter of the love Penn State does.
Yeah.
Even after that whole thing.
I know, man. Yeah, I know, right? How do you survive that?
I'm not going to,
Yeah, don't go there.
Okay, we're trending the wrong direction.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, I wanted to see his offers. He had a Kentucky offer, and then he had a Pitt offer. That's super sick. But like I said, I watched it and I was like laughing because I was like, this guy is like, he is the quintessential like your favorite college player, and like it's like your dad's favorite college player and your grandpa's favorite college player, and then like you guys all tell stories about him, and then like the grandson hears about him and he's like, wait, you saw this guy play? Like, he has like the all-time record, like this is the type of college player that Syracuse loves. Like the Eric Dungy types are, the guys that, are really good in college, who cares about the next level, but they're just like awesome college players. That's what I think this guy is. I think he's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah. I mean, his tape is absolutely enjoyable.
106.
So,
according to 247 Sports, 106 in the position and 36 in the state. It's not too bad.
That's 36 in the state is great. 106 running back. That's kind of weird.
There's a lot of good running backs, though.
What do you think, Joe? You got any thoughts on Huff?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be a problem to bring down as long as we have a good offensive line.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he's going to be going obviously against bigger players because obviously in high school,
yeah, I know. That's why
you know how that goes, right? Yeah. But that's a big boy for a running back.
Still big though. That's what I'm saying. Like, and he's got another year. I mean, it's still big. This kid.
So you get to the second level in high school, like he's gone.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't understand,
dude. There's kids avoiding contact with this guy when he breaks the field,
breaking ribs just to try to take his legs out.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
If you ever want a good laugh, just look at Derrick Henry's high school numbers, and you'll just
Jesus.
Literally just like 550 yards a game. I would venture that Huff is gonna flirt with like a 400-yard game.
Oh, don't make any predictions, Tyler, please.
I'm gonna flirt with it. Like, we're not talking yet. We're just kind of like got my eye in that direction.
Fair enough. Malcolm Falk, DB, Episcopal Academy, Pennsylvania, 6'1", 191 pounds, 3 stars. Tyler, we had the great pleasure of sitting down and talking with this young man. Just impressive all around as a person.
You guys did a great job.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
He did a great job. We just were there.
No, yeah, he did. This kid.
Yeah.
We had what?
No, he was impressive.
Yes,
very.
Yes.
Impressive.
What you don't know, what no one knows until I'm about to say this, except for Tyler and Joe. We had to re-record his answers multiple times,
like every time. Basically.
And I had to edit them. I had to edit them back in because he kept breaking up and freezing. One time he lost connection. This kid was so patient. I felt so bad for him. Me and Tyler at one point were looking at each other like, "Oh no!" He was just frozen, and just a stand-up kid. His father is a stand-up dude. He DM'd me on Twitter thanking me, and I'm like, "Thank me? No, thank you." I mean, your kid's great. I mean, you did a freaking fantastic job with this kid. But what do you think? We never really talked about him.
That's true.
After the interview. So what'd you think? What do you think, Tyler?
So it's interesting now, actually. It's actually a better time to talk about him because there's more commits, now, and we can actually put it a little bit more in context and kind of see where the class is trending, at least. Right. I think as of right now, he's the best player. He's the best football player in our class so far.
As far as athletic and just all around.
Dude, he is like, I'm almost worried that he's going to get too big, man. Like, this guy is, he's such like, he's that athlete, he's that good. He's that fast. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think that he might be like a hair short to move down a level, but he's going to be a much better Evan Foster. I think that's kind of the way to look at it. Like, he's going to be like the superchargiest Foster. If that makes any sense.
Well, yeah, and we were talking about, me and Sean were talking about actually doing a show here at some point to kind of maybe, I don't know, Big Bird, Cookie Monster style, this new defensive scheme so that maybe the fans can understand a little bit more of what's going to be out there, right? Because it's going to be something completely different, right? I mean, we can 100%. compare him to Evan Foster, but really he's coming in to probably play a position that wasn't there when Evan Foster was, right?
Correct.
And To go back to the rankings, you said you thought 36 in the state for Josh Huff, same state, Malcolm Falk 29th in the state of Pennsylvania, right? So
I'm a good evaluator.
Hey,
Yes.
there you go.
The Cuse Militia football expert, Tyler Marona, everybody.
But yeah, no, this kid again, like what we talked about before, like he fits a position that is again, with this new defense, we're not going to understand it until we see it. And I mean, just hearing his answer about blitzing.
Oh,
when I watched, dude, like I'm sorry, that was awesome.
He lit up.
Okay, this is exactly the guy that is going to come in and come up and get in the box, and they're going to do some. I mean, again, from the 3-3-5, you can morph that into almost anything, any defense. And so that's why I believe we made that change, because it trends towards the type of players that we've been able to recruit on defense.
That's the big point.
And that is because like we talked about, defensive line, we've kind of struggled in recruiting and stuff like that, right? So
in large part, you could say, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, as far as depth and everything goes with that, you look at the team coming in and with the linebackers we had last year. So this move is going to help us, and this kid, I think, is a player that if we are not playing this scheme, who knows if he comes here.
Yeah, it's a solid point. Yeah, because it was a great fit for him. He mentioned it was a great fit for him. It's exactly what he wants to be doing. He's already doing it in high school. And I mean, he's ready. And like you said, Joe, when Tyler asked him, "How do you feel about blitzing?" He said,
"Oh, Jim.
I mean,
that was the best part." It was all good, but that was the best part. Yeah, that got me going.
Yeah.
I wanted to,
for sure, man.
Yeah,
I think that he's not to say that like he's going to be like freshman All-American or anything like that, but he has the best ability in my mind of this class to come in and just play right away, because I wonder if, the high school season goes well and all that, no interruptions. He, in my mind, could end up getting another star. He's the guy that, in my mind, because like, I think that he's going to be so ready to go, and he's going to fit the defense, like we're saying, like just like a glove, I mean, he's just going to slide right in. Because that's how they grade these players, is like how ready are they, to go right away. So I think that he could be a 4-star guy just based off of like, but again, there's 4 and 5-star fits into a scheme, and then you can grade him a 3-star athlete. It is what it is. I don't know, but
yeah,
he's a 4-star, 5-star fit to our program is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because he could be a 3-star, but in what scheme are you talking about? Right. I mean, just as well as anybody else, like when it comes to NFL, guys get drafted based upon schemes and fits and everything like that. And you could be a 5-star in that fit, but a 3-star in a normal fit, you don't really ever know. And that's really where it comes into it. I mean, first off, our recruiting, where we've been, everything that we've been doing, we're not set up to bring in 10 guys that are ready to go, right? Like, and come in and help, right? So a lot of these guys are red shirt, give them a couple years, or they got to make their way up through special teams to help a little bit, that kind of stuff. But I mean, Andre Cisco was a 3-star, and then he was a freshman All-American, right? Yeah. So you do find these guys, and I do agree 100% with Tyler after listening to this kid and watching his tape and kind of listening to where he's going to fit and kind of imagining to where he's going to fit into the scheme. As long as there's not somebody that's there better than him that he has to beat out, or an older player, like, then this kid could definitely come in and help right from the beginning, just like Cisco did.
I just don't know like who would be in his spot by that time is what I'm kind of getting at too, is like there could be a very big vacancy, and then he's just like, well, fancy this, look at what I got.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. Especially since this is a new thing, right? This is going to be the first year kind of we're going to figure this out type thing. And then he might come in and, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Oh boy is right.
That's the one thing.
Quick question.
This is the pilot run.
Yeah, it is the pilot run. Quick question. If you on defense, well, actually just throwing quarterback out, what's the one position that like you knew that like you were like, okay, like I know that we're going to recruit well, like no matter what their like ranking or anything else was, like if you could trust the coaching staff to bring in one position group, like which one would you pick? Like you just know that these guys are going to be at least like above average at.
As far as this coaching staff right now in place since they've been here,
Or just like your favorite team, like you knew, like, and if I'm guessing it's everybody's favorite team here is Syracuse. Like if you could just like know that like, okay, we signed 3 guys at this position of need, and you know that they're all going to be like pretty good to above average. Like which position group would you pick?
well, with this coaching staff, I'd probably pick the defensive backs just based on the history of what we've had. But to go back into history, it was almost like I felt like Marone in offensive linemen were just, that was kind of, I mean, he was an offensive lineman NFL coach, and I felt like he recruited well there, and then they did pretty well there for a little while for offensive linemen, and then we kind of fell off a little bit. That would be my answer, but.
What would your preferred group to like be? Like if you could pick any of them.
Oh, if I could pick any of them, it would be defensive line, man.
Sean?
I mean, I don't know, Tyler. I don't know.
Okay, fine.
Did we say we, I mean.
No, to me, there's nothing as a fan, especially in the Dome, there's nothing better. Like the years when we had Chandler Jones and some of these guys that could just get to, like when you can have a defensive line that can get pressure when it's loud and you got the keys jingling in the third quarter, and
that's the best. That's the best. But
right. And you don't need to blitz. Like that is the best to me. Like that's what you want. That's ultimately what you want.
Right. Well, I mean, just to hit off something different. I mean, we need the offensive line woes have been just so, it's been discouraging.
To me,
so
yeah.
I mean,
I would have to agree.
You gotta, I would love to see that get better. And it's kind of a boring. It's the unsung heroes of everything. You know what I mean? The offensive line, but it's so important, and you need it. You want to have a quarterback be successful. You're not going to pull a Dungy every time. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Someone that could do that, what Dungy did while he was here. So I would say,
dude, there was a little while where we were pulling off some really, really good, like offensive line. I mean, there was a lot of, especially around the time when Tyler was there. I mean, Pugh obviously, but there was,
man, like
there was
the best. That was the cream of the crop, man. That was the best offensive line will ever be.
And there was so many just right there fringe NFL offensive linemen. Like there were so many
high-level college talent. Yeah,
absolutely. That's why. Who was the running back? Jerome Smith.
Yeah, and
those guys.
Gmo and Devontae and Prince Tyson Gully.
Yep.
We had 4 starting running backs. Oh man, we had so
George
much
Morris, Devontae McFarland. Yep.
Oh man, that was a shame. Oh well. No, I would agree with you, Sean. I think that if I were to like go to bed and just not have to worry about one recruiting position, it's just because like I don't want to have to think about like, is our offensive line going to suck? Like I can't live in that world.
Think about. Let's go back to the past couple of years running game. I mean, if you've got that offensive line, you go just look at the running game past few. You can go back probably 3 years. It's just been okay. It's been those guys have struggled.
Well, it's gone down and down and down.
Yeah,
that's the reality. Like it was at a pretty good level. The mid 10s. We were actually running the ball very effectively. I think like 14, we had a couple guys approaching 1,000. Granted, we couldn't throw, but that's a different story. So, I mean, but you're right. I think it's like, we can recruit Tommy, a 4-star guy, best player in New Jersey history, besides Percy Harvin. And then, he can't get the ball out.
Percy Harvin was from Virginia Beach.
But he went to Bosco, the same high school as Tommy, didn't he?
He went to Lansdowne here in Virginia Beach.
All right, shut up, dude. Okay, whatever.
Sorry, that was the one thing I know.
Because you live in Virginia.
Who was from New Jersey? There was like another guy that went to Tommy's high school that was like an NFL receiver. I'm trying to think. Like really good.
Oh, we did get a Virginia Beach that Anwar Sparrow. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Virginia Beach.
Yeah, he was that's the quintessential guy of Louisville dangling the carrot out in front of him, and he never took it.
Right, and that's why he came late.
Was like,
right?
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
I had the same, like literally the same exact thing happened to me. It's crazy. It was like, dude, I get it, man. I was you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
like you'll love it. Like I want to DM him like, dude, best decision you've ever made. Like,
I DM'd him. I didn't get a response. It's okay though. I'm not sad about it. We got one. Okay. I'm sad about it. I got one more. Terry Lockett, defensive tackle, Springfield Central, Massachusetts, 6'1", 255 pounds. It's a 3-star, also offered by Michigan and Buffalo, among others. So, first commit of the 2021 class. Tyler, what do you think?
So, this guy's been kind of under a lot of fire because he looks very young in the face, and just
right. Who cares?
my buddies and I like to make some jokes every now and then, but we've made a couple of jokes at his expense, unfortunately to him, behind closed doors. But that's neither here nor there. He's actually been trumpeting the campaign for other guys to commit, which is really cool. I really like that when you see guys like really proud of where they're going, no matter what school it is. I think it's just really nice to see like guys committed and already moving that chapter of their life behind them and trying to get other guys on board. So this guy, I think, is a 210% committed type of guy. I think he's also a guy that can come in and contribute early just based off his size and speed, and he plays in that system as well in high school. So I don't really have a lot on him because I just think that he's just going to be like a guy that's just, a steady guy. He's just going to contribute where he can. And he's going to be one of those guys where it's like kind of what we were saying earlier, or what I was kind of asking you guys, like right now he's a guy where it's like I can go to sleep knowing that like he's going to be well above average at his position and do well. He's just a really good depth rotational piece early on in his career, and I think he could probably be good at the end of his career, like really good. So we'll see.
Joey,
yeah, that's when you talked about the best players in this class so far and everything like that. Looking at 247 Sports, they do have the defensive lineman there, the end from Wisconsin. They have him as the 7th ranked player from his state, and then they have this guy, 7th ranked player from his state as well, from Massachusetts, which again, I don't know anything about Massachusetts high school football, but the one thing that I did see when I did watch this film was obviously being 6'1", not the tallest guy, but his pad level was real good. The ability to get underneath the blocks, leverage, things like that. And just he's athletic. And again, hopefully this young in the face thing that Tyler's talking about means that he's still got a little bit of a growth spurt in him, and he can maybe get a couple inches, and that'll allow him to carry his weight a little bit better. But again, I see it as obviously a need, and I think that we've seen the need starting to be met by this new defensive coordinator and the coaching staff. But again, like I said, maybe not a guy that comes in the first year, but you never know because they have this whole year left over. But you get your weight up and you get ready, and maybe he could be a first year contributor, but somebody down the road that again is going to be steady for a good 3 years.
All right. Well, I have to ask. Either one, you can go first. I don't care. If you had to give this class a grade, class of 2021, as of right now, what would you give it?
Incomplete.
Other than an eye. Yeah. So the guy real quick that I was thinking of from Don Bosco in New Jersey was Jabril Peppers. That was the guy I was thinking of. So
no, okay.
Is that what you were doing the whole time?
Yeah. I was looking up who went to Don Bosco. So far, so this is, to me, this class is this is how I surmise it right now, is that this is like getting everything that you need for Christmas so that like you don't have to go buy it yourself. Like
so it's a bunch of socks. Are you saying it's a bunch of socks and underwear?
But it's like, it's like the official gear of, it's like the stuff you're like, wow, that's
it's
like
officially
really nice
licensed.
Stuff. Right. It's like the stuff straight off the rack, from like, the equipment room at Manley Fieldhouse. It's like that level of stuff where you're like, wow, like I don't have to go like, search for this on eBay. And like, you can tell a lot of hard work was put into it, a lot of effort. And, and it really speaks to the fact that like, I can just tell that this staff is better at recruiting.
How do you feel like this is? We're going into so many unknowns in this football season, like with the whole Corona thing and all the new coaches and the new defensive scheme. And I just like, are you nervous? Are you like, are you waiting for the boo birds to come out? Is it you waiting for the rough start? You know, I mean, what do you think?
Dude, I don't know, man. Like, everybody's behind the 8 ball, so the only thing you can do is just prepare by yourself. But look, man, like Oregon and Texas A&M, among a couple other schools, they're just like, look, dude, we're not missing one day of practice. We're not missing one revenue dollar. Like, we're going for it.
Yeah.
So, and if that's the case, then like, and if the South is just going to bully everybody else into, doing it, which I'm all for, unfortunately, because I'm a football guy, and that's what football guys do. We risk life and limb to go out and do what we need to do in order to get the job done. It's not about doing it. It's about doing it right, no matter what is going on in this country. So, and if you're a Cuse fan and you're not nervous and you're not breathing, you don't have a heartbeat, it's just the way it goes because we love it so much,
Yeah.
So
you just don't
Cuse.
Yeah.
I fully expect that this is going to be a slight disaster for like 2 quarters, and then we're going to like be like, oh wait, no, we got to start playing. It's going to be like one of those things where it's like but it's going to be that way across America. It's because it's so different. Everything's so different. And no matter what is going to be in the back of your mind for at least a little bit until it gets knocked out of you. And then you're like, well, it's just the same thing I've been doing, like the rest of my life. So I don't think it's going to be that big, like prolonged, but it's going to be a quarter or two where you're like, oh boy, like, is everybody just going to suck this year?
Yeah. Well, we talked about it in the last.
We always have those moments.
We talked about it, right? About how when you changed both coordinators and then you miss spring ball, and then there's all, so I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't going to be good for us as far as the way that this whole thing happened, because there are veteran teams that didn't have those changes that are going to be a lot more prepared to get ready to go. Right. So like what Tyler said, maybe it's more than 2 quarters. I don't know, but it's a change that we needed to have. As you've seen from Babers, ever since he was a head coach at Eastern Illinois, he's been losing coordinators to head coaching jobs, right? So
every year, man.
Yeah. So when you do that, I mean, we lost our offense coordinator after the Dungy 10 win year, right? So when you do that, you get another guy that comes up, and can they fill the shoes? And we found out that some people can't, right? And we found out that the defense that they wanted to come into the ACC with isn't going to work, right? No. So we went ahead and we got those coordinators. And again, to what Tyler had said, it's noted that those coordinators are better as far as recruiting. And Babers, he's going to pull out all the stops. He came out and he said, my coordinators aren't good enough. And that it's not all down to the head. I mean, head coach, they get the brunt of everything, but you need good coordinators and good position coaches to be successful. It's not just on the head coach.
Well, it's crazy, like being in college football the spring and coaching. It's just like regular corporate America. Like your position coaches are like your worker bees, and then the coordinators are middle management, and then the CEO is the head coach, right?
Yep.
So like the head coach is literally like the employer of everybody else below you. So it's like, it's literally the same exact thing. So like if you're like worker bees are just dead all day long, sorry for cussing, family show. It's just not going to work. It's like, you got to fire guys. And it's like, I feel bad. I hate firings because like, I know that one day, and I'm already in this profession as it is now. And it's like, it's a lot better in high school than at the college D1 Power 5 level AC. But, look, I mean, the gauntlet's been set. Clemson's not going anywhere. And now on the other side of the bracket too, like UNC's getting there, Miami's getting there, Georgia Tech is getting there. Like, how much we're like stacked up against? Like our conference, our side of the division is going to look like the slouch in like 2 years. And we have Florida State, NC State. Dude, it's like the ACC is so much better than it was like 3 years ago coming up this year. It's to be frightening. So I think Coach saw that, writing on the wall, and it was just something that needed to happen. Unfortunately, but like everybody landed on their feet. Coach Stannard went and took another job. Everybody else is doing fine. It's just the way of the world.
Yeah, you can't take things personally. That's really what it comes down to. When business is business, if the guy at the top doesn't fire somebody, then it's going to be him. I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to lose my job for somebody else, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too is that I think most coaches, they don't forget how to coach. It's just an indictment on their recruiting. That's really what it is. They're not good salesmen, and it's tough. I mean, like not a lot of people are good salesmen, and the best ones are Dabo Swinney, Nick Saban, Coach O. Like, surprise, surprise, the best salesmen are the guys that win championships. It's just the way it goes, man.
Right.
Because you need to fundraise, you need to get with the AD, you got to do all these other BS things that like people don't see behind the scenes, and that's what gives you the budget to go hire better coaches. And thankfully, our fundraising department has kicked it into very high gear, and we're starting to get some bigger donations, and it's showing too. And I think that's coming to fruition already, so that's really cool.
Yeah. And I just get afraid because, you get those coaches sometimes where they come in and they got that shtick, right? But it only lasts like 2-3 years, and then they start losing the confidence. And, and that's the one thing that I'm nervous about because, we've had all those years where Dino Babers is having those moments in the locker room, and it's on ESPN, and it's getting pumped up, hyped up. We have a 10-win season. And then all of a sudden this thing happens. We get rid of both of our coordinators. It almost seems like I don't want to say a last-ditch effort, but again, like you said, the writing was on the wall that he saw that he needed to make a change.
It was the BC game we went to, Tyler. Remember? Smoked by BC. Smoked.
Oh my God, man! The running back too. What is it?
Dylan.
AJ Dillon.
Well, and the other guy,
dude. He got drafted in the third round because of that, or the second round, or whatever he got drafted. That was because of that game, man.
It was
we saw his draft pick literally just rise and rise during that game. We were there for it.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, speaking of the draft, I mean, what a perfect summation by us. It's the same thing every year, right? Your specialist gets drafted, a D lineman gets drafted, and a receiver gets signed. It's like classic Cuse, man.
Yeah.
Lock it in every year.
Yeah, we did. That was an actually pretty good show for the pregame for the draft. Turned out to be pretty solid. Actually, if you look back on it, right? It was pretty good.
Man,
and we were texting during the draft, and I was like, man, I'm surprised Sterling hasn't gotten picked up yet. I'm a little disappointed in that. It was like,
like
5 minutes later. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw Alton go in the 5th round, I was like, no, he's going to be the only one. Like I was.
I mean,
that's where
too.
I was, right? And again, the one thing that me and Sean talked about was that, I mean, I was surprised about the signings. The undrafted
likewise,
signings, right?
Man, that was awesome.
A lot of them, yeah, it's good,
right? But we didn't even talk about some of those.
Yeah, we didn't.
We kind of like
Sean Riley to the Patriots, man.
Right?
Yeah, and how perfect of a fit is that? Like, that's a great fit. We wouldn't, right?
Lasker texted me right away. He's like, dude, he's going to start for them. Like, I don't know how, but he's going to. Like, he's going to be like the all-time special teams leader in Patriots history when it's all said and done.
Yeah, he had a lot of muff punt returns last year.
Man.
That was the one thing that was a little disappointing about him. But he's so shifty and fast, and he's got moves, man. He could be something. He could be, that slot guy that they use all the time. So,
but not only them, but some of the guys that didn't get signed either. Like we thought that maybe Foster or Frederick or even Mo Neal. Like none of those guys got.
Mo Neal hasn't gotten burned anywhere, which is a little surprising.
No, man.
Lakeem, nothing. So
you never know, though. They're still working on it.
I think Mo is going to be a great candidate for. I still think he's
XFL?
a CFL guy.
Oh,
I think he's going to.
I still think it comes back to not having a pro day.
Oh, for sure, man. I don't think people really understand like how good of an athlete he really is.
Yeah, well,
like he's a top tier athlete.
We talked about the offensive line briefly, but it really hampered his year. Let's be honest. I mean, it was tough.
Oh, for sure, dude. It's just like tough. It killed it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that Ryan Alexander was a debacle.
Yeah, what a mess.
Oh my god,
he just quit. He just do ups and quits. Like, who does that?
And when you see what happened with the numbers when he actually left and we actually made the change, it's like why didn't
we should have done that at the beginning of the year?
From the beginning,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
who cares,
man? People had Coach Kavanaugh. People had Coach Kavanaugh on the chopping block just for signing him. It's like sometimes you whiff, man.
He's a grad transfer.
How do you know a guy?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
it?
he was a grad transfer, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like it was a flyer on a guy that's like could potentially come in and help, and he didn't. It's like
Yeah, he
oh
didn't.
well,
It
but
was terrible.
it's
Unfortunately,
awful.
it's just not.
You know
my...
who I'm excited about? I think Tisdale can play, man. I think he can. You know, the JUCO transfer. He played like, in
Yeah.
like one game, and he opened up a hole like the size of Texas, and that was the one that the long run for what's his name at the Duke game. Jarvion, didn't he have like a nice like 50-yard run?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was Tisdale.
So
I was
did
like,
Mo.
dude, we killed him that game. That was so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I hate Duke.
Yeah, I was at
I
that
hate Duke
game.
too.
was so
I
sick.
love you, Tyler, because you hate Duke. I hate Duke.
Oh,
too.
it's the best, man. There's nothing better than that. I'll tell you
beating
what,
Duke,
man.
yeah.
The best time of my life, man, was when Duke came to play us at Syracuse my sophomore year. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, that was probably the most fun I'll ever have in my life. It's sad that I peaked at 20, but it is what it is.
You'll find
And the
something
fact that we
someday.
beat him in
trust me.
overtime.
Yeah.
Oh man, and just seeing Jabari Parker just waddling off the court. He fouled out, man. I was like, dude, we're just like, we had a sign that said Jabari wears jorts, and Jabari listens to Nickelback. It was like I got retweeted like 100 times. It's
Really?
like, it's so awesome. Oh man.
Oh,
yeah.
it's cool.
It's just the perfect storm.
Yeah, that was an overtime game that made it to the Cuse Moment Madness bracket.
That was a fun one, man. And then we lost when we went to Camden. That was tough.
Yeah, but we swapped them back and forth for the first couple years, but it's always a good game. It has been anyway.
We only play Duke like up to our level. I feel like that's the only team that like we rise to the occasion for. Like I can't understand why like we can't just like go out and like spank, whoever else that's, inferior.
It was so up and down this past year, so hard to judge that team. And you feel like they're getting hot, and then the Rona. So
Did we go? Yeah, did we go into the trust tree? And did I tell you the fact that like I swore off Cuse basketball until they beat Georgetown again?
Yeah,
like
you
I
did.
can't. I'll look at the box score, but I'm not going to watch the game.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that though.
Dude, it's just like betting against your team. It's like they lose, but you're like, oh well, I made a couple.
I
bucks
made
on
money,
it.
right? Yeah, that's what I do. I never bet on my team. I always bet against my team. If I have
got a hedge, man.
Yeah, dude, it's a win-win.
Do you guys? Are you guys like actual sports gamblers? Like I've never.
Joe's way more active in that than I am. I'm not. I'm
Whoa.
Joe's
Degenerate Joe.
Yeah.
Time out. All right. I got a bunch of nicknames, but that's not one of them. All right.
I like Degenerate Joe. It fits you, man. It probably doesn't fit you at all. But like it goes. Like
no, it fits him. It fits him.
No, it definitely does not. No, I do DraftKings. I do FanDuel. I don't do like sports book stuff or anything like that.
Right, but he's sport. What is it? What's the one
I just said DraftKings and FanDuel.
DraftKings.
And I do a lot of fantasy sports. I do a lot of fantasy sports.
Yeah, which
okay, like if you want to say like fantasy is
that
gambling,
doesn't count.
then of course I've gambled in my life. But like that's but I every year I come in second. I couldn't take it anymore. So I always get to the end and my team runs out of steam. And it's like I realized that I pick the guys that do well between weeks 1 and 12, and then their teams are like 12-0, and they don't have to play for anything the last half of the season. So it just like backfires.
Well, I'm hoping that this new NFL rule with adding a playoff team will change that.
That and the fact that 55 play. I don't get why NFL doesn't go to like 60 players. Like I think that's like the most no-brainer thing, and then like just make 10 of them inactive.
What is it, 53?
You got it.
52?
Yeah, it's 50. Well, they changed it to 55 this year, but one has to be an offensive lineman.
Well, that's kind of the practice squad, ain't it?
But it's not, because like your practice squad guys can sign a pro deal, like a active roster. Or like if somebody gives you like an active roster contract, there's nothing prohibiting you from taking it. Happens to the Cowboys all the time. I'm like, oh, I really like this corner. He's gonna be developmental, and then like, Arizona signs him, and you're like, well, that's that,
Okay, I got you. So that's like practice squad isn't like stopping you from signing another contract. I get you.
They're like your preferred free agents. It's like the guys that you have on the fringe at all times.
Got you.
Yeah. So it's not like, and granted, I only pay attention to the Cowboys. So like, I only think about how anything in the NFL benefits me. Like, I don't think about how it benefits anybody else.
Yeah, well, who
So
cares?
that's just kind of how I go.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But I do think that like if they go to 60 guys, then like I don't know. I think that's kind of the next thing. I was just thinking about that today for whatever reason. Because I was thinking about talking to you guys and like the draft picks and like, I think that, adding an 8th round or something like that, to where, or an extra supplemental round and going up to 8. I think, because I was trying to think about how do Cuse guys get drafted more besides just being better, other than that small little, detail.
Well, that's kind of important.
Well, they used to have 14, 15, 12 rounds, and it came down
40
to
rounds like baseball.
And it's like, yeah, let's just do 7, and then we'll just do undrafted free agents. How about that?
I think that's fine,
cool.
though. Don't you guys? I mean, that's plenty. That's plenty.
It really is. I'm a
depends.
draft nerd, though, man.
Me too.
I love it. I could go on. Like, I wish it was like all week. Like, I wish it was 40 rounds.
I would watch it too.
7 rounds, do one a day, right? That would be nice.
Right. That'd be
something
nice.
like that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe like rounds like 10 through 20 could be on like Friday, but it is what it is.
No, you gotta love those rapid fire picks.
And you know what?
They're
though?
catching up. Nothing but highlights. Like that's
It's so good,
God.
man. It's just like YouTube when it like auto plays the next video of like just random.
Yep.
So good.
That's just always 10 picks behind, nothing but content. That's when everyone like Sean doesn't watch. So
I didn't think it was that much different.
The first round, it's like 10 minutes.
The first round is brutal. I hate the first round. The first round's not good.
You remember when it was 15 minutes?
Man, it was 7 hours long. It starts at 6 and it's going until 4 in the morning.
4 picks an hour.
I got to go to work tomorrow, Roger.
4 picks an hour. Ridiculous.
It is awful, man. But yeah, draft. So awesome.
All right. Well, I think that's where we'll leave it today, guys. All right. So,
So like when I was at HBU and we'd have guys like when we'd have guys huddles up to watch to recruit them to like evaluate them, the defensive coordinator is the guy that like turns it on and he has a projector on and it's like he runs the show, right? And like so anybody that you want to watch, you have to like filter it through him to make sure that like he has the right. Yeah, anyway, it's for compliance. But like you watch the huddle and huddle started to do the like auto play the next guy's highlights, but it's like Russian roulette. Like it's like a baseball film from like South Dakota. So then we're like always like, oh man, this guy's throwing heat, and then you're like, we're trying to like watch this corner, and then the defensive coordinator is doing his write up, and then all of a sudden some guy from like Gwinnett, Georgia is like doing a 360 windmill dunk, and we're like, man, like can we recruit this guy? And then you go do some research, and you're like, oh, this was from 2009. Like this guy is like a father now.
He's a father.
Yeah, he's a father of 2. But it's just funny, man. Like the amount of stuff and like things you see in football, it's great. It's why I'll never leave.
All right. I think we'll leave it there. It was perfect. Thank you, Tyler. Tyler Friel, thanks for joining us. I know Katie's like out and about or something. So
you had her.
You had some extra time tonight. You had some extra time tonight, so we appreciate it. Tyler always 99% of the time, Tyler is there. I can call Tyler 5 minutes, be like, yo, you want to come on the show? He'll be like, yes, give me 10 minutes. Let me finish this burrito. And I'll be like, all right. So,
dude, that sounds so good.
We appreciate you, Tyler. You're on fire as always. We appreciate it. That's it. That's it for us. Thanks for listening. For Joe and Tyler, I'm Sean. We're out.
Love you guys.
Love you too, buddy.
Thanks for listening to the Cuse Militia Podcast, the fan's voice with Sean and Joe.